All right, hey guys, this lesson is going to go over the quadratic formula. So we have already learned 4 ways to solve quadratics. So today we're going to learn another way. So we have solved by graphing, we have solved by factoring, we have solved by using roots, we solved by completing the square, that was our last one. And now we're going to learn the last way, which is the quadratic formula. So if you have this packet out, go ahead and push pause and try the warm-up. All right, so the warm-up says, if you wanted to convert 80 degrees Fahrenheit to Celsius, what would make this easier for you to solve? Okay, so right now if I knew 80 degrees Fahrenheit, I could plug in the 80, and then I have equals 9/5 C plus 35. And then I could just work to solve for Celsius, but it would be much easier if this equation said Celsius equals, and then something over here with an F. That would be much easier because then I could just plug in the 80 and just work it out. So straight kind of computational. This I have to do a little bit more work to solve. Like I'd have to subtract 35, then I'd have to multiply by 5/9. But if it said Celsius equals, it would be much easier to solve. That's going to kind of relate to what we're doing today when we're solving quadratics using the quadratic formula. So our learning goal for today is we're learning another method to solve quadratic equations. You can always use this method. So this would be your fallback method. If you don't know how to do the other ones, you don't like factoring, then I would always go to the quadratic formula. So you're going to be successful when today you can solve a quadratic equation using the quadratic formula. You'll also hopefully be able to say the quadratic formula and possibly memorize it. And then you can check your solution to a quadratic equation as well. All right, so if I gave you this problem and I was asking you to solve this problem, okay, so basically you're trying to figure out what does x equal. What would make this equation easier to solve? So I want you to think back to what our warm-up was. When we were solving for Celsius, it was nice if it said C equals. So in this case, this would be much easier to solve if it said x equals. That's going to be our goal today. Can we figure out what x equals by doing a bunch of steps? If we could get it to say x equals, if we could get this equation to say that, it would be much easier to solve. So that's kind of what our goal is today. All right, so could we find a generic way to solve all quadratic equations when they're given in standard form? So if you're given any quadratic that looks like this, ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, can you rewrite it so it says x equals? So somebody, a long time ago, I'm not sure who it was, I could look it up, but I did not, came up with a way to actually solve that so it does say x equals. And they did it by completing the square. So I want you guys to think about when we're completing the square, if we had something like this, and then we wanted to make it a perfect square, so we completed the square. We wanted this number here to be half of 8, which is 4. 4 squared is 16, so we wanted this to be a 16. So we added 4 here, added 4 here, and then we got it to be a perfect square and did all the other steps. So somebody figured out, like, let's try to solve this for x over here. Now, I'm not going to go through this whole thing because it's a little confusing, but I'll go through it in class when I'm there sometime. But they took this, and they didn't really like that variable in front of the x squared, so they divided everything by a to start with. Even the 0, they divided by a, but they didn't show that. So they divided everything by a. Then they tried to complete the square. So they moved this term over to start with. Okay, and then they're like, okay, I have this middle term, I'm going to do half of it. Times it by half, I get this, and then I would need to square it. So they put that squared over there. And if you do that to one side, they did that to the other side. Okay, and then they did the whole completing the square process, and they came up with this in the end. Again, I'll go through this in class, but for sake of this video, I'm going to move on. But this is the quadratic formula. So here it is. The quadratic formula is x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over or divided by 2a. Okay. In a quadratic, remember the a term is always right in front of the x squared, and then here's the b term, and here is the c term when it's written in standard form. So now if I give you a quadratic equation, like 2x squared plus 5x plus 8 equals 0, you can actually plug in those values. So anywhere I see an a up here, so right here and right here, I would plug in a 2. Anywhere I see a b, so here and here, I would plug in a 5. And anywhere I see a c, I would plug in that 8, and then I would work that out. And I'm going to get my solution to the quadratic equation. You might be thinking, like, why is this helpful? Well, I'll show you that during this video. So tomorrow in class, I'm going to show you some videos of how you can actually memorize this formula. So I still remember it from when I was in high school. We did it to Pop Goes the Weasel, and I'll show you a video tomorrow, but this is how I remember it. I say x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So I kind of sing that in my head every single time, and I have it memorized, and I still do from high school. So I'll show you some songs tomorrow that are kind of fun that you'll hopefully will help you memorize this, and there's also a little story that goes with it as well. All right, so in order to use the quadratic formula, the following things must be true. So please get these down in your notes. First thing, you have to have the equation set equal to 0. So make sure you have everything on one side and 0 on the other side. That is always your first step. The equation also must be in standard form. You want it in the correct order. So it's in standard form, which is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Okay, so you want it written like that because you're going to have to pick out your a, b, and c values to plug into the equation. So make sure you have that written in standard form. Then you need to use substitution or parentheses when plugging in. So I'm going to say use parentheses when plugging in so you avoid any sign mistakes. Okay, there are a lot of places in this formula for you to make errors, so please make sure you use parentheses. And then also you will need to use the order of operations to go ahead and solve for your x values. All right, so let's actually try some now. All right, so if you look at example 1, first thing that you might notice is it's not quite in standard form. Remember, you needed an ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So first thing I need to do is move that 11 to the other side. So I'm going to add 11 to both sides. Okay, so now I have x squared, that should say minus 12x plus 11 equals 0. Okay, the next thing I do is I usually write down, especially in these first ones, your a, b, and c value. So my a value, my b, and my c. So remember, your a value is the coefficient of the x squared, which is just a 1 in this case. Here's my b value. Looks like it's negative 12. And my c value is 11. All right, the next thing you're going to do is actually just plug those values into the quadratic formula. Okay, so I'm going to think I've got x equals, I'm just going to write it, negative b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. I almost have to sing that little song in my head every time when I do this. Okay, so now let's actually plug in what we know. So I'm going to put x equals, instead of a b here, I'm going to put, it says negative b. So I have negative 12, which turns it to a positive 12. Okay, plus or minus the square root. It says b squared. Well, b is negative 12. I'm going to use a parentheses. Minus 4 times a is 1. C is 11. And then all over 2 times a, which is 1. All right, so now I need to work that out. I'm just going to kind of zoom this out so I have more space to write. So now you have to use the order of operations. So I usually just keep my first part. So see that negative 12 there, or negative 12? That's going to turn to a positive 12. Plus or minus. I need to do inside there. Okay, so if I do negative 12 squared, that's 144. Minus, here I need to do 4 times 1 times 11, which is 44. Okay, and then all over 2 times 1 is 2. Okay, I'm going to keep going. So now I have 12 plus or minus. If I do 144 minus 44, that's 100. Okay, so I'm just going to think in my head, well, what is the square root of 100? That's 10. And then over 2. And I'll put my x equals. All right, so now I'm going to come up finally with my two solutions. Okay, I'll come down here. I get x equals and x equals. Let's do the positive first. So I'll highlight this as I go. I'm going to do 12 plus 10, which is 22. And then this line means divide. Divided by 2 is 11. There's my first solution. Okay, my second solution, I'm going to do 12 minus 10, which is 2, divided by 2 is 1. So my two solutions are 11 and 1. So if you wanted to check that you're correct, remember you have a couple options. You could go plug those back into the original equation. You'd have to plug both of them in, or the other little trick that we learned is if you look at those two and add them together, that's 12. That should be the opposite of whatever your B term is, which is negative 12. So my solutions are likely correct, but again, you could plug them in to make sure. All right, let's try letter B. I just wrote it on a new page for myself. So first thing, I need to get this in standard form. So I'm going to move the 5x to the other side. So I have 3x squared, then comes my 5x, minus 5x plus 1 equals 0. Okay, right away, I'm going to write down what's my A, my B, and my C values. So my A value is whatever is in front of the squared. Here's my B, negative 5, and here's my C, positive 1. Make sure you look at the signs in front of them. So I'll put A is 3, B is negative 5, C is 1. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the quadratic formula. It's negative B plus or minus the square root of B squared minus 4AC all over 2A. So again, I just have that memorized. Now I'm going to fill in all of my letters, I'm going to fill in all of the variables with the numbers. So I'm going to put x equals negative b. So my b is already a negative 5, so that's going to make it a positive 5, plus or minus the square root, b squared. So sometimes people like to do that in their head too. So b squared, negative 5 squared is 25, minus 4 times a is 3, times c is 1. And then all over 2 times a, which is 3. Again, now you need to work this out. I'll show you sometimes how I do it as well. If you can write very neatly and you use a lot of space, you can also do this. Okay, so I already did my squared inside here. Now I'm going to do 4 times 3 times 1, which is 12. So sometimes I write neatly, I can fit that in there, and I can still see my work. Okay, now I'm going to do 25 take away 12, which is 13. So I've got 5 plus or minus the square root of 13, and then 2 times 3 is 6. Now, technically, this is the best answer you could actually have, those two answers, 5 plus the square root of 13 over 6 and 5 minus the square root of 13 over 6. Those are your two exact answers, but let's go back and we can practice typing on a calculator. Okay, so we're going to round to the nearest tenth. Okay, so I'm going to grab my calculator. Okay, so it says do 5 plus the square root of 13. So I like doing the square root of 13 first. I'm going to type that in. I get 3.6. Okay, I'm just going to kind of cross that off and put 3.6. So I'm going to do 5 plus 3.6 and then divide by 6. I end up with about 1.4. Okay, then I'm going to grab a different color. I'm going to do 5 minus 3.6 divided by 6. Divided by 6. So 5 minus 3.6 and then divide by 6. I get about 0.2 for my other answer. And there are my two solutions. Again, you can plug those in to see if they work to check your solutions. Now that trick I talked about on the last page is a little bit different when the leading coefficient is 3. You could still add these. Keep in mind they're rounded, so if I add that, I get about 1.6. But then because the leading coefficient is 3, I'd have to multiply that, and I get about 4.8, which is close to 5. Again, we round it, so it's not going to be exact. Not as easy to check using that trick for these ones that don't work out nice. All right, let's go to letter C. Again, first thing, we should rewrite it in standard form, so I'm going to add 4 to both sides. So I get 4x squared plus 8x plus 4 equals 0. So we know a lot of different methods that you could try to factor it. You could try to complete the square. You could graph it. So those are all methods you can use, but you can also use the quadratic formula, which we're focusing on today. So I'm going to say my A value is a 4, my B value is an 8, and my C value is a 4. Okay, if I need to write that above them again, here's your A, your B, and your C. All right, so my quadratic formula is x equals negative b. So my b is 8, so I'll put negative 8 plus or minus the square root of b squared. So 8 squared is 64. Minus 4 times a, which is 4, times c, which is 4, and then all over 2a, 2 times 4. And now I need to work that out. So again, I like to write this kind of big, so I take up a lot of space. Order of operations, you need to do inside here first. So 4 times 4 times 4. So if you work that out, 4 times 4 times 4, that is 64. Okay, 64 minus 64 is 0. So now we have -8 plus or minus. I want you to think, what is the square root of 0? Well, that's 0. All over 2 times 4 is 8. Okay, now I can go ahead and do my two solutions, or my solutions, might not be two. I'm going to do -8 plus 0 is 8, divided by 8 is -1. And then you guys probably already know, but if I do -8 minus 0, it's still -8, divided by 8 is also -1. So there's just one solution, or one root to this. Think about if I was graphing that parabola, that means there would just be one x-intercept. Okay, so I just have one solution on this one. All right, so we have one more to try. I would like you to pause the video and try this one on your own, and then I'll go through the solution. All right, so first thing that you might notice is you can actually move either of these. I just wanted to point this out. I see my 6x squareds over here. I need to get everything together, so I can either move the 6x squared to this side by adding 6x squared, and then I get this one. Or I can move the 7x and the 3 over here by subtracting, and then I get this one. No matter how you do it, you're going to get the same solution. So it doesn't matter which way you do. I'm just going to use, I like working with positives better, so I'm going to use this second way. All right, so when I work it out, I get x equals -b, so -7 plus or minus the square root, b squared, which is 49, minus 4 times 6 times 3, all over 2a. 2 times 6 is 12. Again, some of you might like to do that in your head, which is fine. Okay, so let's do 4 times 6 times 3 first in the back, and I get 72. Okay, so if I go inside there, I get -7 plus or minus 49 minus 72 gives me -23, and then over 12. All right, so if you look at that, I might notice something right here, the square root of -23. You cannot do that. There is no real solution. So that means there are no solutions, okay? There are no roots on this one. If I was graphing it, there would be no x-intercepts. Okay, and I do want to show you if you did it the other way, because I just want to make sure you did the right thing here too. So if you did it the other way using this red one right here, and I plugged everything in for you so you can see, here's the tricky part where a lot of people make mistakes. So if you look back here, I'm going to do 4 times -6 times -3. Well, if I do that, just be careful with your negatives. These two make a positive, but it's still minus. So I still get 49 minus 72, no matter how you do it. And again, that's a negative number. So sometimes you may end up with no solutions. I mean, no solution. You'll end up with no solution. So we solved 4 problems today using the quadratic formula. One of them, or a couple of them, had 2 solutions. One of them had no solution, and one of them had 1 solution. So I want you to think about when would be a good time to use the quadratic formula. Now that you've learned all 4 methods, when would be a good time to use the quadratic formula? It will work on every single problem. So when would you want to use it? Just think about that. And we'll kind of talk more about the quadratic formula tomorrow, and I'll show you some tricks for memorizing it.